Well, ever since I was young, I had a real strong interest in making things with my hands. That I knew whatever I did, I wanted to make things, and it didn't have to be blacksmithing. It didn't have to be old-fashioned. I think really who's to blame is my little brother. I worked hard one summer and made up the money to buy an anvil, a little beat-up old mouse hole, and we took off and we kept at it. And he was my striker, and we did fun work together. I've never had a formal class in blacksmithing. More than anything, my training was at Colonial Williamsburg. So part of what brought me there was that anyone who starts in the trades department there in Williamsburg serves an apprenticeship to learn the ins and outs of the trade. So that's day in and day out, on-the-job training, learning under more experienced smiths. You're surrounded by people who are scrutinizing your work and telling you to do better. And that really drew me to that shop. Intense training that was available there.
How did you get involved with Williamsburg?
I was at Quad State. The Williamsburg Smiths were doing a demonstration. I heard through the grapevine that they were getting ready to hire an apprentice. You know, I put in a job application and drove out there, interviewed. Interviewing a blacksmith shop is, here's a hammer, here's a thing, make a thing. They just want to see, how do you do the work? Do you actually know how to swing a hammer? How do you approach it? That's what they're looking for. I started in Williamsburg in February of 2020. So even though I was hired in February, it wasn't until March that I was actually in costume. And I had been in costume for only a week before the whole museum shut down. But going forward, it was, I think, a pretty enjoyable experience. I got to learn from some really skilled smiths. The master of the shop is Ken Schwartz. He's taught me probably more than anyone else. So when I started, there was Ken and 2 journeymen and 3 apprentices. Usually our apprenticeship takes somewhere between 5 to 7 years to finish. So just last summer, I finished my apprenticeship. Haven't been there for 5 years. The basic principle is, if they could make it back then with these tools, we can make it happen today. So no belt grinder, no power hammer, no electric lights, no welder. It's just hand hammers and files to get all the work done. It's our job both to manufacture things for use there in Williamsburg, but also to demonstrate to the public and discuss with the public what work as a blacksmith in the 18th century was like. And we get all kinds of visitors in. We get families on vacation, we get big school groups, we get retirees coming through. Right now at the shop, I'm working on a couple of locks for doors. So it's really interesting getting to put together all of the inner workings. I've been working on learning how to make keys better.
How did you hear about BAM?
Well, I'd heard about it in the blacksmithing world. I always knew there were conferences out here. I'd never made it out, hadn't seen much about it. But hearing about the conference really came from Josh. Josh got invited to come demonstrate. So he invited me out to help him. Demonstrating with 2 people at once makes a much more interesting demonstration. So that way, while one guy's doing something boring, the other one can do something a little bit more interesting. If he's busy working, someone else can answer the questions. If I'm busy working, he can answer my questions. So I think it makes a more dynamic demo. So Josh made this whole area here. He started on the first day making these fireplace tongs for picking up hot embers from the fire. So this morning he decided, well, to go with it, you might as well make a shovel. So then on my side of things, I was working on this whole arrangement. These are andirons or fire dogs. These go in your fireplace to hold up burning logs. And then I made a roasting spit. So these hooks here are to receive a roasting spit there. So you got the fire and you can roast some meat there. And then to go with the roasting spit, you need skewers to hold the meat. These skewers will fit in the rectangular holes. Kind of working on a whole kit for a fireplace hearth.
Do you have any advice for an aspiring or new blacksmith?
Taking classes, if you have the privilege and ability to take classes, is really great. Getting yourself around more experienced smiths in whatever form that takes, whether you're going to hammer-ins and finding a mentor. There's lots of good books out there. Getting an apprenticeship is something really rare. That's a great opportunity if you can get it. I think if you're young and you have the privilege to do it, jumping at that sort of opportunity, whether it's an apprenticeship or an internship, or some sort of on-the-job training, learning how the work actually goes on in a working shop is fantastic experience. But realistically, that's not something that everyone can get their hands on. I'm on Instagram under Broadus Thompson, same as my name.